From almost the minute he was born, the Reverend James M. Lawson, Jr. refused to accept the prejudice, discrimination, and hate he saw around him. And because of that, our country owes him a great debt of gratitude. The son and grandson of Methodist ministers in Ohio, Reverend Lawson felt called to build a just and peaceful place, often sacrificing himself and his personal safety along the way. After studying the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi and nonviolent resistance in India, Lawson moved to Nashville, Tennessee at the urging of Martin Luther King Jr. and joined the emerging nonviolent direct action movements initiated by Dr. King, Rosa Parks, and others. During that time, he provided his wisdom and counsel across the South and became, as Representative John Lewis said, the architect of the civil rights movement. Whether it was mentoring the struggles in cities like Birmingham and Louisville, or helping organize movements like the Memphis Sanitation Workers Strike, the Nashville Sit-in Movement, or the Little Rock Nine, all roads lead back to this legend. It was after his incredible work in the South in the 60s and 70s that the Reverend finally blessed California with his presence. He moved to Los Angeles in 1974 and has been working to make this state a more just place since then. His courage, his willingness to put himself and his body on the line, and his moral clarity in the face of unimaginable pressure to maintain the status quo make him a hero for the ages, a person with shoes so big that it's hard to imagine how wonderfully the world might change if each of us tried ever so slightly to fill them. The moral arc of the universe does indeed bend towards justice, but it does not bend on its own. It requires the strong, courageous grip of people like Reverend Lawson, and for that, it is our esteemed honor to welcome the Reverend James M. Lawson, Jr. into the California Hall of Fame.
I want to thank, first of all, the governor and the first lady, the first partner of our state, for including me in this eclectic group of people for the Hall of Fame. I think this reflects California, the wide spectrum of work that's represented here on this platform, and I want to extend my congratulations to all of them in this class of 2019. I'm tempted to, and I'm going to go ahead and do it. For 3 years, I actually taught soccer, world football, in India. For 3 years as a coach. And so your reputation and your name for me has been very important. I continue to follow soccer. In any case, I am delighted to be a part of California. When we moved here in 1974, I had no idea that it would be such a challenging, wonderful, vast place of experiment for human life. I personally discovered an intellectual freedom, a spiritual freedom, a moral freedom. I personally discovered a community of people who represented, in fact, the whole human race of the earth, for loving and understanding and steady practice. I've here contributed to that in some ways. Los Angeles today has 800,000 members of labor unions, in part because of my work of 30 years there. Because I'm convinced that what we think to be more, perhaps issues that cannot be resolved, I'm convinced that every man and every woman and every child in California, across the face of the earth, can have economic, social, political, religious equality of every form, if we human beings would learn the lessons from our past and do them. So I'm proud to count myself a citizen of this state and a resident of Los Angeles for these last almost 45 years or so. And I want to simply say to you, we have a wonderful governor and a wonderful example of a family as a governor's family in our state. And I want to see that governor's image and work become illustration of what political leadership can do in our, not alone in our state, but in our nation. Desperately we need it.